Can we talk about living at home as an adult for a second? Because I have a lot to say about it. I moved back in with my grandparents, but my parents also live here when I was 25, a year ago, after I broke up with my ex. We've been together for 6.5 years. I'd lived away since I was 19, like haven't lived at home since I was 19, like almost 10 years. Simple things like I get home from a work trip, for example, and everyone's like, how was it? And obviously I want to talk to you, but I'm tired. I also just want my own space. I just want to be by myself. Constantly being aware of your surroundings, making sure you're not making mess, making sure you're not being loud, making sure if they're using the kitchen, you're not using it as well. You've got to be around all these people that you necessarily wouldn't be around, but you have to be around because you're in a circumstance when you have to live at home. Let's also talk about, you can't really have anyone over. I want my friends to come around. I want to host dinner parties. I want to have some drinks. Or I want to come home drunk and I can't. And the reality of living at home when you're an adult is awful. Like, they treat you like you're a child, for one. I'm an adult. Please don't come up to my space. I pay rent every single month. I don't live here for free. So get off my back. Get off my back. I just want to let you know that I can relate to you if you live at home with your family, because it's rough in these streets. Like, it truly is.
It's rough in these streets. She guesses it truly is. You know, the thing that's interesting for me about all of this is it takes responsibility to have your own place. And I think we live in a generation where people have kind of forgotten that. And if you don't know, a definition for responsibility is being able to respond with ability. So if you don't have the ability to respond to the trials of life, i.e. to pay for rent or pay for mortgage in your own space, in your own place, then the question is going to be, what else do you expect? Do you expect for your parents who do take the responsibility to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, to allow you to bring people over? Do you expect for your parents who do pay for the mortgage or for the rent to now say to you, yes, come home drunk, our daughter? Or do you actually expect them to encourage you to respond with potentially the same ability that allows them to do the things and provide the same facility that it is that you are literally enjoying by virtue of being in their house? Because, you know, it's one thing living in a home with your parents. In this predicament, she's with her parents and the grandparents. That's what she said. But one of the things I'm actually even, I think, more interested in is what caused the breakup after 6 years of being in a relationship with her previous partner. Because it seems like, obviously or evidently, she wasn't paying her full way in that relationship. As a result, the other individual potentially was either paying at least 50% or more, which is why that relationship breakup resulted in, after 6 years of her being out of home, her having to go back home. But I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Because a lot of the time, people get into these predicaments where they move out of home at any age. She, in her situation, was 19. But from moving out of home, they say to themselves, listen, I know I've got life sussed. I've got life sorted. I understand how it all works. And unfortunately, over a period of time, it shows out that it doesn't work for them. And the question is, why is it not working for them? Is it not working for them because life is hard and somebody hates them? Or is it not working for them because there are basic principles, there are basic precepts, there are basic patterns that if people don't literally learn, and after learning them or even discover them, they don't actually start to deploy their life according to them, then ultimately their life is going to be destroyed because of them. And I think sometimes it would do us really well to take a step back and ask ourselves those questions, like, what are the patterns that I am discerning? What are the patterns that I am discovering? What are the patterns that I have been learning? And do those patterns favor me living my life a certain way? Because, for example, if your hope and dream is that one day you're going to meet a spouse and they're going to become a part of your team, and the two of yous are going to go 50-50 in order to pay for a place so you can get your own space and you don't have to stay at home with your parents, then the question is, what happens if the potential spouse that you want to bring into your house isn't up for that regime, isn't interested in being a part of your team? This happens all of the time. So for those of you who are living at home and saying to yourself, you know what, I don't like living at home. I don't like the fact I can't come home drunk. I don't like the fact I can't bring my friends over. I don't like all of these things that have been expressed. One of the things I'd encourage you to think about is whether all of those things you desire to do, the house parties, the drunkenness, the bringing friends home, whether all of those things indicate and point towards you having the ability to have the house and the stability to allow your children hopefully when they come in the future, or if you've got them already, to then do the same thing in your property. Because a lot of the time, your flat out answer, my flat out answer is going to be no. Like, I don't pay the rent, pay the mortgage for my child to come home drunk. I don't pay the rent, pay the mortgage for my child to come home bringing and hosting parties, right? Like, that's not what we're doing this for, right? And if you think about it from that perspective, which is the age old adage of putting yourself in someone else's shoes, instantly you start realizing, well, hold on a minute, I don't expect it to be like that. And then you start potentially pulling your weight in a different way, not just being able to say, oh, I pay rent. Because the reality is paying rent is great. It's a great experience. It's a great learning. It's a great tool and mechanism to get you ready to maybe potentially buy your own place, to get you ready to maybe rent your own place outside of your parents' house. But the reality is, whether you are renting outside of your parents' home or not, your parents are only, in most cases, going to want to show you the structure that they've put in place in order to achieve whatever they deem as their present level of success. And if they're not doing that, then obviously we all already know that they're not good parents. But if they are doing that, then yes, you might have to take the hit on coming home drunk to your parents' and grandparents' house. And yes, you might have to take the hit of not being able to host your own luxury home events, right? At your parents' home and your grandparents' home. And yes, you might have to take the hit of not being able to invite friends over as much as maybe you think you should. Because one of the interesting things I learned when I was super young, my dad used to tell me this. My dad used to say to me when I was going to primary school, he used to say, listen, you're calling all these people your friends, but when you get to secondary school, most of those friends from primary school, you will no longer be friends with them. You're not going to know them anymore. Okay. And then my dad used to kind of like give me the triple hit combo, because he then say to me, and if you think I'm wrong, when you go to college, all of those friends you're calling friends in primary school, you're probably not going to know any of them. If you do, you probably only know one of them by the time you get to college. And he'd give me the 4-piece combo by then adding on to that. And if you do know any of them in college, by the time you get to university, those people you know right now are now calling friends in primary school, you're probably not going to know when you get to university. And you know what? I could have thought that my dad didn't know what he was talking about, but I can assure you, through life showed me my dad knew exactly what he was talking about. And I want you to take a moment and think about that yourself as well. Like, have you still got friends today in whatever echelon of life you're in right now that you had when you were 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 11 years old? And the answer for many of us is no. Why? Because relationships are, in many cases, sometimes transient. Okay. It's only marital relationships and certain kinds of relationships that are lifelong. And when we start realizing that, what happens a lot of the time is we start shifting how we approach things. We stop trying to facilitate and participate in everything for everybody else. And we start thinking about the things that will be extremely beneficial, not just for ourselves, but for those who are also contributing to our health. So I'm talking about your direct immediate parents. I'm talking about your children. I'm talking about your immediate legacy and your family and offsprings of that, which is your community, and not just every single person you met at university or every single person you met at work, and so forth and so forth. And it takes time. It takes maturity to learn these things. It takes time. It takes maturity to discern these things. It takes time. It takes maturity to be the kind of person who recognizes, you know what? I see the pattern here. The pattern is that I can't just befriend everyone, and I can't just let everyone be all up in my space, because over time, it's going to end up looking like I don't even have a place. And this is what we learn by becoming mature. This is what we learn over time. And this is what many parents are trying to encourage and instill in their children to learn, whether they're 25, whether they're 35, whether they're 49, regardless of the age. It's about your parents attempting to assist you to get on the right page. So if you're someone out there who's currently living with your parents and you are at an adult age and you're saying to yourself, why have I put myself in this predicament? I want you to understand that it's okay. All right. It's okay. Yes, there may be a better way right now in your mind, but first and foremost, appreciate the fact that it's okay. You've got a warm shelter over your head. You've got amenities, whether it be the electricity, the heating, you've got the water, right? You've got supplies that there are people who don't have. So be grateful for what you have and look at how you can develop and how you can enhance what you have in order to create even more abundance than you desire to have. Now, I know this is not the common commentary on something like this, but at the end of the day, even if it's controversial, you need to think about whether it's actually beneficial. And if it is beneficial, then you know what to do. Like, comment, and also subscribe so you can become a part of this tribe. And I look forward to seeing you in one of the next videos. Feel free to touch the video that's on the screen right now, or side by side with that, you can hit subscribe and make sure you press the bell notification so you can be notified of all the other videos that come as we put out more content for you. With that being said, Samuel ICanWin, I'm signing out. You know what it is. Good day, God bless. And like I always say, small keys open up big doors. See you on the next one. Let's go.
Small keys open big doors.